The special called meeting of Thursday, May 1st, 2025, I should say the special called meeting of the Russellville Historic District Commission for May 1st, 2025 is called to order. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Betsy McGuire.
Here.
Greg Barborick. Not here. Judy Galloway, here. Steve Newby. Not here. Suzanne Alford. She's here. Beverly Hooton. Here. Kelly Jones. Absent. J.P. Leonard.
Here.
Regina Watkins.
Here.
And some of these folks had legitimate reasons for not being here tonight with the close of the school year and so forth. There are a lot of things that people had prior commitments. So, and Suzanne, you probably really should have sat up here, so because there will be things that you might need to vote on other
Yes.
than the COA that we're going to be looking at.
She could stay down here.
Okay. But when she raised her hand, that was not, that didn't appear in the minutes. Okay, all right. Moving right along. Okay. You all have a copy of the minutes from our last meeting, our very recent meeting, actually.
And there was a correction by Paul Gray. I didn't see that the fire chief was here at the last meeting, so
Oh, okay.
he was here.
Very good. Good catch, Paul. Thank you. I like fully engaged
Yes.
liaisons. And you
Appreciate
have
it.
certainly been one. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I thanked him already.
And also, I want to recognize that our two new commissioners are here for their second meeting, J.P. Leonard and Regina Watkins. Thank you both. I really appreciate your diligence as well. Okay, moving right along to our first order of business. We have review of a COA for,
Wait.
what? Wait.
Yeah,
Oh,
called to order at, okay, I got that, but we got minutes.
we need the approval of those minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes with the corrections.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Suze, you need to vote so that we have a quorum. Okay, all right, thank
It
you.
was the second, didn't get it.
Beverly was made the
First.
motion, and J.P.
Okay.
Leonard made the second. I am going to try to be very official and use your all's last names, but in this small gathering, it may be a little bit more casual. Thank you.
Now we can do the,
Okay, now we can move on to our first item of business, which is review of the COA for 311 West C Street, which is also known as the Hamilton Building, which is a non-contributing
no,
building.
I have another correction. It is contributing.
Oh, thank you, Judy. A contributing building for a new canvas cover placed on an existing awning frame presented by Suzanne Alford. So we have Victoria Marchant with our staff report.
Yes. So as stated, this is an application to allow the installation of an awning in its previous location at 311 West C Street. This project will be grant funded by Main Street Russellville, thus the special called meeting to make sure we're meeting all the timelines. So normal existing conditions, this is an existing building in the C1 Central Business District surrounded by other C1 zoned properties. The applicant is proposing to reinstall an awning that was previously on their building. The awning is being recovered with a terracotta fabric that will match the previous awning but will not include the business name as the previous awning did. The awning will be located in the same place as the old awning, and the applicant has stated that part of the reason for putting up the awning back on the building is in an effort to save the doors on the building and help protect them from the elements. So in our review of this, we did have to consult section 10.4 of the Russellville Downtown Historic District Commission Design Guidelines, and that is regarding awning specifically. So I will just quickly go through the applicable items. The first is that the minimum setback for a front awning or canopy shall be at least 2.5 feet from the face of the curb. This awning will meet that setback requirement. C, the appropriate awning supporting mechanisms are wall-mounted brackets, chains, or posts. These will be wall-mounted brackets, and that will be appropriate. D, wall-supported canopies may be considered for new construction. This is not a new construction project, so that one isn't applicable. E, fabric awnings are appropriate and encouraged for historic buildings and new construction. The proposed awning is a fabric awning. And G, rigid frame awnings may be considered. This is a rigid frame awning and is therefore considered to be appropriate. There's no proposed lighting at this time. I, colors must be compatible with the overall color scheme of the facade. Solid colors or simple muted striped patterns are appropriate. The proposed color is compatible with the facade of the building and is an appropriate solid color. J, simple shed or flat awnings are appropriate for rectangular openings. The proposed awning is a simple shed awning and is appropriate for the rectangular opening on the building. And then finally, K, awnings and canopies shall be mounted to accentuate character-defining features. They should be mounted to highlight moldings that may be found above the storefront. Their mounting should not damage significant features and historical details. The awning will be attached in such a way that it should not damage historical details or features. The awning will hang over the transom windows as it did previously. However, it will not completely cover them up, and the transoms will still be able to be seen by pedestrians. And I attached a photo of the previous awning that shows that they would be able to be visible by pedestrians. So as a result of all of that, staff does recommend approval of this application as a result of the findings that the applicant has met all of the applicable guidelines of section 10.1 or 10.4 referencing awnings. And that is my staff report. Are there any questions?
Don't seem to be any questions, Victoria. Thank you very much.
And just a reminder, Betsy, since Suze can't vote on this, you will have to vote.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Any comments, any questions in regard to, and I guess first I should have asked for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve it as it reads.
One comment, I understood from, I've understood from Danielle that because of the time-sensitive part of this grant, it should be finished and ready to be checked off the list on May 1st. I talked to Marty Miller with Sunset Awning right before it came over to this meeting, reminding him, I mean, he says it'll be done, but I have not heard from him today. So I'm going to assume that he will follow through.
May 2nd.
Oh, is it May 2nd? Okay. But it can be done Friday. I mean, I think that's the day he could do it. And I did alert him that there would be a lot of activity at the depot in case he has a lot of, I don't remember what kind of equipment he used before, so that's all.
Thank you. All right. Beverly?
I make a motion that we approve it.
So we have a motion to approve. I'll second it. Have a second from J.P. Leonard. Now I can ask any discussion. Okay, with all that,
I have a question. I know it's kind of related, but the material that is used for the cloth awnings, a lot of times I see they get that black mold. Is there some kind of treatment or, because over time,
It can be cleaned because I have someone in Bill's office, and you can clean it.
okay, good. It's just people are not, I'm just curious because
Yes.
I thought, is it?
The mold on the crepe myrtles may have caused that on some instances with people who have awnings. The years that I had those, I've had 2 awnings in 20 years or so. And I didn't have any mold issue. But that could be it when the mold moved in on the crepe myrtles. So.
No.
Thank you.
I think too, the sunbrella fabric that they use is pretty much an industry standard. It's very durable, but you know, it's like most things, you do have to clean it from time to time. Yeah. Okay, so without any further discussion, and as Victoria pointed out, just for the record, I don't typically vote as chairperson, but because we need that vote tonight for a quorum, I will be voting. So all in favor of the motion to approve?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we do have a couple of items of unfinished business that we need to go ahead and take on tonight that are carried over from our last meeting. One is the discussion to revisions of the current COA form. And Judy, I think you had some questions or comments about that.
I would like to still see the front of the form, which you propose not to show the commissioners. That's got the property owner, who's filing, the architect, etc. And then on the second page, it's where it says description of proposed work. I think it needs to say detailed description of proposed work, because one of the last COAs we've received just says, let me find what it said. See proposed elevations. That is not adequate in my mind. And down where it says existing buildings on number 2, description of materials to be used, it also needs to say with specs, so that we don't have to try to find the specs on a particular window or whatever. And that's all I had.
So if specs are not appropriate, are not required on every application form, if we did include with specs as appropriate, might be a way to handle that. But realizing that not every COA form comes to us that has a requirement for specifications.
We can definitely take that into advisement to figure out the best way. Please see attached for description. Usually when they're doing that, they should have the details on those elevations.
All we
And
had
so-
before was a picture. I don't think that's adequate.
Okay. But I would expect or anticipate that we still obtain applications that say, please see attached. We can be looking for details. A lot of the times, that's what staff does when we're looking at completing our staff report and we're looking through the guidelines. We're reaching out to applicants, trying to find those additional details to have that, because this
That's-
is new for
That-
some of these
that's-
applicants.
That's what the check things are for down here. That would be all
Right.
attached.
Well, and I understand that, but a lot of the times we don't always have all of that information because the applicant doesn't necessarily know this process. They're not familiar with it. So we're trying to help walk them through and get that application, those details as we go through the application process to review and provide you all with a staff report. We try to have a lot of those details by the time that we're presenting a staff report to you. But if we are to follow that application and say, oh, you don't have the material that you're using on this, we can't accept your application, or you don't have all the specifications, we can't accept your application, that's not working with applicants very much. And so definitely trying to be as friendly as we possibly can, because a lot of these applicants, they own the buildings or they're tenants in the buildings and they're proposing something, but they don't know the process. They're not familiar with it. And so we're trying to walk through that process with them, helping them along as much as we can. And so I know from staff's perspective, we're not going to tell them, oh, you don't have those details, you don't have those specifications, I can't accept this application. But we'll definitely try our best to obtain that information.
I'm not saying they have to have it immediately, but you could guide them to provide that
Okay.
for us.
And we absolutely, that's what we do in our office every day, is guiding people towards applications, trying to help walk them through. But if you will go ahead and email what you think the changes to that form need to be, we'll try to fit it in as best we can.
Okay, I can do that. That's all I had to say about it.
Okay, I had something in mind. I'll try to remember it before we get through new business. Under new business, we need to add our new commissioners to the city website. Thank you, Sarah. And also, I really felt, and didn't think about this prior to our last meeting, but I had a chance to mention this to Sarah, that I really think it would have been nice if we would have had invited our commissioners whose terms were expiring to that meeting to recognize their period of service, because many of them had been served for multiple terms. But Sarah, you had mentioned something, and I didn't make note of it. You said there might be some other activity coming up at the city level. Do you remember what you had told me that day, that we might include those commissioners in to give them that recognition for their previous terms?
I don't know if it was about some event or anything coming up, but there are some changes at the city, and we'll be recognizing staff as some roles are changing. And so maybe at that time, we could invite them in and recognize them for their service.
I think that would be,
Okay.
I think that would be, as a matter of fact, do other commissioners that serve on city boards and commissions, is there some way of recognizing them for their period of service? Do you guys do that for?
We haven't done that, at least in the almost 6 years that I have been here. Gosh, it is almost 6 years. That we have done anything to recognize service for people who have been rolling off or anything on our other commissions that I manage. I could always reach out and to see what other commissions do, because maybe the Advertising Promotion Commission or the Airport Commission or the Cemetery Commission, maybe one of these other commissions does something. Okay, so for 10 years, we haven't on Planning and Board of Adjustments.
I was on the Board of Adjustment decades ago. I think I got a plaque when I went off. I don't know where it is, but
Paul, I know this is kind of changing the subject a little bit, but when aldermen roll off, is there some, do you guys do some sort of recognition of those?
Yeah, but we just do a little private thing back here. When a councilman rolls off, they give them a plaque and we have some cupcakes or something, but it's not public.
Yeah.
I didn't get any cupcakes.
I'm sorry you didn't get any cupcakes.
And I don't even know that a plaque is necessary. I just thought, because I know some of them had been on since the commission was
Absolutely.
initiated. And that's, being diligent and coming to meetings every month and paying attention to the business that's going on. It just seemed like we should have done something to recognize their service.
Yes, ma'am.
Even if it was just having them here and thanking them. So I'm going to ask you all, let's think about those things so that we don't drop the ball, even if it's just a verbal thank you or whatever. I think that's very important. I really do.
I move we invite them to the next meeting and maybe do a picture.
Well, and she said there might be something coming up when some
We'll,
changes.
yeah, we'll coordinate when those changes happen and do recognitions all together.
And even a letter, as Judy just mentioned, even just a letter thanking them
Yeah.
would be.
That
yeah,
could go out right away.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it
would be
should.
nice. Just a nice form letter recognizing their terms of service.
And for both of the commissioners who did just roll off, I called and talked to them personally, thanking them for their time, and let them know about other opportunities that they could continue serving if they wanted to.
Okay, next item under new business is staff approval since February 2025. Have we had any of those?
No.
Okay. All right, what was I thinking? There was something that just came to mind, but what the hey?
I will unless you all have done it already, I will contact Marie Snyder at NAPC and get the 2 new commissioners put on the email list and the other 2 commissioners.
No, we have not done that, so that would be great, thank you.
Okay.
I'm glad she mentioned that. They just had a really good 2-part window webinar that
They
just
did.
wrapped up. And once you all have been included in that, you can actually either sit in on those webinars live, or they will be uploaded where you can download them and watch them at your convenience. But they were really great. They usually have some really good webinars. And these 2 on windows, the value of historic windows, why it's important to try to save them when possible, was really good. And they just start out from the very beginning. Yeah, very educational. And, you know, everything we do is an ongoing educational opportunity, so I encourage you to do that. Sarah, Victoria, do we have anything that we need to address prior to tomorrow's ice cream social?
Just that the ice cream social is from 12:30 to 2, and if you want to help us set up, we'll be there at 9 a.m. to help to start, 9 a.m., 9:15, just in case we're.
For you, we will, Wendell.
Yes, yeah, we'll make sure there's a limit. Yes, so if you want to show up and help, we've got real tablecloths this year, Suze.
Have real
Since this
flowers
is our
coming.
4th annual ice cream social, and we're really excited about it, but no, I don't know that there's anything specific we need to address. I
And
think
our
we've got
first
it.
behind-the-scenes tour starts at 2 o'clock, and it will
That's
be
right.
at the depot. All the other tours will either be during the week or on the weekend.
Yes.
And you all should have schedules, and we'll have printed schedules available there. Suzanne, we
Yes.
have plenty of sheets of why we preserve to hand out. And Sarah, thank you for helping with the ice cream. And Jay, I want to thank JP, who recommended that we contact Cool Cat Creamery, and Cool Cat Creamery has donated 6 gallons of ice cream, half vanilla, half chocolate. Sarah's going to buy some supplement
Yes.
in case we have a large crowd, because we're expecting a larger audience. And I really think it's a good idea that we move this event to during the business day. I think that's really going to help. So we'll see how that works out.
The one comment that I've seen on one of our posts was, why is it during the day the kids can't attend? So definitely want to look at our attendance, how it does, and maybe take that into consideration as we're planning for next year. But I think this is shaping up to be a really good event.
We might suggest to the schools that they note the upcoming tours, and maybe some classes would come.
Good point. Good point. Okay. That is all that is on the agenda for tonight. Is there anything else that we need to address?
I just want to give you a brief update. I know that I had handed out the AHPP, the survey results showing that some properties had gone from contributing to non-contributing. That does still stand. There are properties that have gone from contributing to non-contributing. AHPP did come back, make a determination. So some of those that were now considered non-contributing have been reverted. They made some corrections. And I have information. So if talking to future property owners and they go, well, it was contributing, now it's non-contributing, what can I do to rectify that and become contributing? I have information specifically from Ralph that I can share. But I did send out the link to this so you can all see the corrected version of this.
Okay.
I did not bring you copies today, but we are at 66% contributing as a result of them reviewing our survey results and making some corrections. That means we have 42 contributing properties versus 43 last time. There were some changes. We did lose more, but we gained some that are now contributing. So really excited that we're doing a really good job to keep that high of a percentage. So, but I just wanted to give you that update.
Sarah, please date, either put a footnote on these or something, date them. If we're revising them, somehow note the revision number or however you determine that, but put a date on there so that we know when it's dated and for instance, if we have an older version, we don't get it mixed up with a newer one. If some people are printing out like I do, I'm still a paper girl. And Sarah, I wanted to compliment you, that front page article, that was it today?
Linton.
Yesterday's
Yesterday.
paper?
About the,
Yesterday's paper?
Yes.
Good article, good quotes from you. Just want to
you.
say kudos.
Thank you.
All right, anything else, anyone? Thank you all for your time. Need a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.